Right now, I'm sitting in my studio, surrounded by canvases, colors everywhere, and my bank account finally matches the dream I had for years. $1 million. Crazy, right? But if you saw me 3 years ago, man, it was nothing like this. I had a tiny apartment, some paints, brushes, and a massive pile of self-doubt. I used to spend hours just sketching in notebooks, scrolling through art pages online, watching everyone else get famous while I barely sold a single print. People would tell me, "Art doesn't pay the bills, dude." And yeah, they were kind of right. I remember one night sitting at my desk, staring at a blank canvas, thinking, maybe I should just quit and get a normal job. But then something hit me. I realized I loved this too much to stop. So I made a plan. Not a huge one, not perfect, just a plan to get my art out there. I started posting online consistently. I experimented with styles that people actually wanted to buy. I learned marketing. Hated it at first. And I promised myself no excuses. The first month, I sold one print. One. $15. I laughed at first, then cried a little, because that $15 was proof. Someone actually wanted my art. And I knew if I could scale this, it could actually become something. That was day one of my journey to turning a hobby into a million.
So that $15 print, it felt huge for about 10 minutes. Then reality hit me hard, because selling one print doesn't pay rent, it doesn't buy groceries, and it sure as hell doesn't feel like a career. I kept grinding anyway. Every morning, I'd wake up, brew coffee, and sit in front of my canvases. I painted for hours, posting every piece online, hoping someone would notice. Instagram, TikTok, art forums, Etsy. I tried everything. And most of the time, nothing. I remember one week in particular. I posted 10 pieces online. 10 pieces. Not a single sale. I sat on my bed, staring at my phone, scrolling through everyone else's success stories, people getting thousands of likes, commissions, sponsorships, living the dream I wanted so badly. And I felt crushed. Maybe they're right, I thought. Maybe art isn't for me. Maybe I'm just wasting my time. But then I remembered why I started. Because I loved it. Not for the money, not for fame, just for the sheer joy of creating. So I did what any stubborn artist would do. I painted harder. I experimented more. I studied trends. I asked other artists what was working. And slowly, the first real momentum appeared. A collector reached out. Just a message. "I love this piece. How much for a custom version?" My heart skipped. I had never done a custom commission before. But I said yes. And that $150 commission, it felt like $1,000. That was the moment I realized something important. It's not about making $1 million overnight. It's about starting small and building momentum. I doubled down. I started learning how to photograph my art better, how to write captions that sell, how to package prints like a pro, how to manage orders without losing my mind. It wasn't glamorous. Some nights I painted until 3 a.m. Some days my hands hurt, my eyes burned, and I questioned everything. But with each small sale, each message of appreciation, I felt alive. By the end of the first month, I had made $500 total, $500,000 from nothing. It wasn't much, but it was proof that this hobby could turn into a real business. And the best part? I started dreaming bigger. I thought, if $500 is possible in 1 month, what if I could make $5,000? What if I could make this a real career? And that's when I realized this wasn't just art anymore. This was my ticket.
Month 2 hit, and things started to feel real. I got my first big commission. Not a $150 print. I'm talking $1,200 for a custom series of paintings. I stared at that number like it was a dream. $1,200. I almost dropped my brush. The client was serious, paid up front, and wanted a full set of pieces for their home. It was more money than I had made in the entire first year of painting before I even tried to sell anything. That was the moment I realized, holy crap, this is actually possible. But here's the thing about success. It doesn't come easy. With that $1,200 commission came pressure, deadlines, expectations, emails at all hours, and I had no systems in place. I painted non-stop. Days blurred into nights. My apartment looked like a hurricane hit. Canvases stacked everywhere, paint everywhere, coffee cups scattered. I started learning about time management the hard way. I couldn't afford to mess up this commission. And that's when I discovered something crucial. If you want to scale your hobby into a business, you need processes. I made schedules, templates, and checklists for every step. How to communicate with clients, how to price pieces, how to ship safely, how to market my work without spamming. It was boring, painful, but necessary. By the third month, small wins started stacking up. $500 here, $800 there, and suddenly my little art page was turning into a mini business. I started experimenting with new platforms: Etsy for prints, Instagram Reels for exposure, TikTok for storytelling. And that's when the magic started. People loved the behind-the-scenes vibe, showing my messy studio, my painting process, my late-night coffee-fueled grind. Comments started pouring in. "Your art speaks to me. I need this in my home. Can you make me a custom piece?" And that's when I realized something huge. It wasn't just the art people wanted, it was the story behind it. By month 4, I had consistent sales. Not just one-offs, but recurring customers. People buying multiple prints, requesting commissions, sharing my work with friends. I was making $2,000 to $3,000 a month now, enough to pay rent comfortably. Enough to think, maybe, just maybe, this could become a $1,000,000 journey. But here's the twist. As things got bigger, so did the challenges. Shipping mistakes, burnout from constant painting, feeling like I had to always perform online, and the fear of losing momentum. I'll admit it, there were nights I wanted to quit, but each time I remembered my first $15 print, the first message from a fan, the first $1,200 commission, that kept me going. And by month 6, I hit a milestone that made me stop and really look at what I was building. I had made $15,000 in 6 months from my art, for a hobby. And that's when the belief really hit me. I can actually do this. I can turn this into $1,000,000.
By month 7, I was finally hitting my stride. Small sales had turned into consistent commissions, and I started seeing patterns in what people actually wanted. That's when I made a bold move. I decided to invest in myself and my art. I bought better supplies, upgraded my studio lighting, and even signed up for a short online marketing course. I figured if I wanted to go big, I couldn't just rely on raw talent. And that decision changed everything. I launched my first proper art collection online, 10 unique prints with matching limited editions. I spent days photographing each piece, writing captions that told stories, and teasing the release on social media. The launch? Insane. In just 48 hours, I sold over $5,000 worth of prints. I couldn't believe it. My hobby, something I did in my spare time, was suddenly bringing in real money. And the best part? The buzz didn't stop there. People started sharing my work, tagging friends, reposting my videos, commenting about how much they loved the art. That's when I realized it wasn't just the art, it was the story behind the grind. People wanted to see the messy studio, the late-night coffee sessions, the struggle and the wins. So I doubled down. I started posting every day, not just art, but the process, the mistakes, the laughs, even the burnout. And guess what? It worked. By month 8, I was consistently making $10,000 a month, not from one big sale, but from many small wins stacking together. I also learned something huge about scaling. Systems are everything. Templates for customer emails save hours. Shipping and packaging need to be smooth. Marketing isn't optional, it's part of the art business. But here's the kicker. Even with $10K a month, I wasn't even close to my goal yet. The $1,000,000 mark still felt far away. And with growth came new pressures. I had to keep creating constantly. I had to stay visible online. I couldn't afford a single mistake. Some nights I'd look at my numbers and feel overwhelmed. I loved the work, but the responsibility was heavy. Then one day I realized if I want the million, I have to keep pushing. No shortcuts, no excuses. So I created my first full-scale strategy. Regular art drops, limited edition prints, commissions only for serious buyers, aggressive social media marketing. That's when things really started moving fast. My hobby was no longer just fun, it was a business machine. By month 9, I was making $20,000 a month, and the dream of 1 million didn't feel impossible anymore.
Month 10 hit, and things were insane. I went from selling a few prints a week to hundreds of prints a month. My social media exploded. TikTok videos showing me painting messy late at night, joking about coffee addictions and burnt fingers, went viral. Suddenly, I was getting commission requests from all over the country. People wanted custom pieces, signed prints, full collections. One week, I made $12,000. The next week, $18,000. I remember sitting at my desk, staring at my bank account, thinking, is this even real? Did I just make more money in a week than I used to make in a month at my old job? But with growth came new challenges. Shipping hundreds of prints became a headache. Emails from clients demanding updates, special requests, refunds. Some nights I felt like I was drowning. And the pressure? Oh man, the pressure was real. If one post didn't perform, I felt anxious. If one commission got delayed, I panicked. But here's the thing I realized. Pressure is part of the game. You can't reach 1 million without it. So I adapted. I hired a part-time assistant to help with packaging and shipping. I learned how to batch create content for social media. I created templates for client emails. Slowly, the business became less chaotic and more structured. And then something magical happened. A collector reached out. I want to commission a full wall-sized collection for my home. Budget $50,000. I almost choked. $50,000 for one project? It was insane. I accepted, worked day and night, bringing every skill I had learned into this one collection. When it was finished, the client loved it, sent glowing reviews, shared my work with friends, reposted it online. That single $50,000 commission boosted my monthly earnings over $60,000. At that moment, I finally realized this is no longer just a hobby. This is a serious business. I'm on my way to the million. And I knew one thing for sure. Every long night, every burnout, every doubt, it was worth it. I kept pushing, kept painting, kept posting, kept hustling. By the end of month 11, I had reached over $500,000 total earnings, $500,000 from my hobby. And the million? It was right there, just within reach.
Month 12. I was so close, I could feel it. 700K, 750K, 820K. Every sale, every commission, every viral post was pushing me closer. But here's the thing. The closer I got to 1 million, the heavier the pressure became. I had to create constantly, post consistently, keep clients happy, manage shipping and fulfillment. Some nights, I felt like I was on the edge of burnout again. 18-hour days, coffee pouring into my veins, hands covered in paint. I questioned everything. Am I pushing too hard? Is it worth it? What if it all collapses? But then I reminded myself of the first $15 print, the first $1,200 commission, the small wins that had gotten me this far. I told myself, one more push, one more day, keep going. And that's when I made a critical decision. I launched my biggest art collection yet. 20 limited edition prints, full social media campaign, behind-the-scenes videos showing every detail,
personal touch for each customer. The response? Explosive. People went wild. Orders flooded in, comments and DMs poured in. I've never seen art like this. Can I commission a custom piece? Your story is inspiring. One night, exhausted and bleary-eyed, I logged into my dashboard. $998,500. I blinked. Refreshed. $999,200. My heart raced. This is it. It's really happening. I leaned back, shaking, hands covered in paint, coffee stains on my shirt, eyes burning from staring at screens, and then $1,003,742. I froze. I did it! 1 million. From a hobby, from countless nights of grind, from every doubt, every fear, every mistake. Tears streamed down my face, not because of the money, but because I proved to myself that I could do it. The journey was brutal, but the payoff worth every second. And that's when I realized it's not just the money, it's the person you become chasing your dreams.
Right now, I'm sitting in my studio, looking around. Canvases everywhere, prints stacked neatly, messages from happy clients on my phone. And I think back, 3 years ago, I had nothing but a few brushes, a sketchbook, and a dream. Now, $1 million later, my hobby isn't just a hobby anymore. It's my career, my passion, my life. And here's the real lesson I learned. It's not about talent. It's not about luck. It's about grit, persistence, and refusing to quit. All those nights painting until my hands hurt, all those late nights staring at screens wondering if it was worth it, all the times I doubted myself, they led me here. Every small sale, every $15 print, every encouraging message, they stacked up, slowly, steadily into something massive. And the best part, I didn't just make money. I became someone who can make things happen, someone who can take a dream, no matter how small, and turn it into reality. And that's the real power of chasing your passion. So if you're watching this and wondering if your hobby, your side project, or your little idea can ever turn into something big, here's my advice. Start small, keep pushing, learn from mistakes, and never stop. Because if I can go from 0 to $1 million with just a sketchbook and some paints, you can do it too. I take a sip of coffee, smile, and look around my studio. From nothing to $1 million, from hobby to life-changing business, it all started with one small step, one tiny print, and the refusal to give up. And honestly, this is just the beginning. Before you go, hit that like button and subscribe for more unbelievable stories just like this one. See you in the next story.